Hey everybody, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps, and if you are watching on Facebook, this is the third attempt, so third time is the charm. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, look, it works the first time. So, like I said, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps. You're watching Maker Mornings with Meg. This is episode 426, which is a follow-up from yesterday's hugely successful project video where I shared the details for this pretty card and the embossing and cutting folder, the magic that is the the Adoring Hearts hybrid embossing folder. So these things are fabulous together, and so many of you guys said that you were excited about them. So I decided to just keep them on my table and continue to work with them today. So today we're making not a card, but, well, you could make it into a card. We are using a little piece of scrap, basically, and some scrap chipboard to do a really fabulous DIY project that you can use for a home decor piece. You can use it for a Valentine's treat. You can use it for your own things, but you're going to want to have some clear envelopes to go with it because that's going to be the guts of our photo book. And then you are also going to want to have some really fun with all of the Most Adored Designer Series paper from Sale-A-Bration. So, all right, so do you want to see the sneak peek of what we're doing today? Okay, so here's the cover of our sneak peek album. And then we have this, fabulous little booklet. And then you can pop in all of the pictures that you want to include in the book. So a really great chance to use all these pieces. And I'm going to show you how to do the binding and the really fun parts that go along with this. You're going to love it. And if you're past Valentine's, you can use this for any kind of photo gift that you want to give to someone. Or honestly, you could just, have it, sitting someplace in your home and just have it be out on a surface because it's so beautiful. So with that, let's flip our camera over and we are going to get started. So leave me a comment if you're watching live, and I know you're there. I keep getting little messages from my internet, but I've tried 3 different internets this morning, and I'm hoping that this one's going to be the right solution. So, all right. So first of all, to get started, and the full directions for this are included with my Loven Stamps monthly tutorials for January. So if you're ordering supplies, there's a link in the video description. And you will get the PDF downloadable printable version of the directions for this as part of that tutorials if you place an online order with me sometime during January. All right, so what you're going to need for this are going to be 2 pieces of chipboard, and this is just the backing paper of things like the Specialty Designer Series paper. Actually, the Most Adored specialty paper, it's 12 by 12. This is 6 by 6 because it's cut for my paper share. But the backing paper that just comes with this is this chipboard. And so what I did was cut it into 6 by 6 pieces, and that is going to work beautifully. So a reminder, tomorrow's last day to sign up for the paper share if you are interested in that. So look for link in the video description, or just ask a question. I can send it to you. So, hey, Kathy, morning. Taryn, hey, yes, and happy pre-Friday. Happy pre-Friday, Kelly. So we have then all of these pieces here that are going to go along with this. And I'm going to show you kind of how to mix and match these things to get this really awesome photo book. So let's go ahead and start off with the basics. You need a 5.5 by 5.5 piece of basic white cardstock. And then you are going to use your hybrid embossing folder. So I have just the folder here. And, oh, I don't have my glass mat today. I need to get that back out. But we're going to take our Flirty Flamingo ink pad and my brayer. Let's see, does this stick very well to my, oh yeah, pretty good. All right, I'm going to put that on there. The nice thing about this mat is that the ink pad doesn't move when you're trying to use it to brayer. So now I'm just going to go over actually both sides of my hybrid embossing folder. And if you want all of the nitty gritty details on this part, you'll want to watch episode 425 of Maker Mornings with Meg, which is the one from Tuesday. And in there, I explain kind of why I'm inking both sides and the choices that you have and so forth. But we're going to go ahead and pop this in here. And then I'm going to take the die, which comes with the hybrid embossing folder. So when you when you get the hybrid embossing folder, you get both the folder and the cutting die, and then all the other little pieces in here that we're gonna use today. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop this. It fits on the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo, and just sort of squish it around until it drops in there. And then I'm gonna take my piece here, pop it over the top. I'm gonna fold it in, and I'm gonna make sure now that I can turn it the right way, make sure that my paper is kind of in the middle there, because the part that I wanna keep from this today is going to be the frame, and I want it to be relatively even all the way around, okay? So I've got this. I'm gonna run it through my die cut machine, and what I'm gonna get out is, I'll do this later so you don't have to watch me die cut, but I'm gonna get this fabulous frame, and then I'm going to get a whole mess of die cut and embossed inked hearts, and they look like, here they are. I just keep them all in a baggie, so they look like this. And you get so many of them that it just makes sense to start collecting them in a bag. So there is one side of them, and then if you flip them over, you get the other inked version, if that makes sense. So you get 9 of these for every time you run this folder through, which means you're gonna have a good collection of them. And so we're gonna go ahead and, let's see. Actually, maybe I am gonna run it through because I need my folder in a second. And so I'll just show it to you here. So run this through. And then we're going to have all of these fun pieces. Okay, so here we go. I know, it's the magic. You guys just wanted to see that again. So I'm gonna dunk those out there and then have another outline here to use for our project. So, all right. So now what we wanna do is we wanna start putting these things together. And this is where the power, hey Becky, of the Adoring Hearts suite really comes together. I guess it's not technically a suite because it's not a suite because the designer series paper is part of the celebration goodies, but you're going to find that you really like using the designer series paper with this because it is just a lot of really pretty colors, and the gold foil is perfect with it. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and start building our cover of our book here. So I have a 6x6 piece of the Adoring Hearts paper. I know it's painful to cover this up. Hey, Cindy. But we're gonna do it anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and layer this on here, and then our frame is gonna go over the top. The next thing I wanna do is I want to just sort of add a little interest here so that our hearts have some motion to them. So we wanna kind of have your eye travel. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort of make a stationary part over here by adding a piece of designer series paper. So here is that. This is just another strip from the same Most Adored paper. And this is gonna pop here on the edge. And now do you see how it feels a little bit like this is sort of a home base, and then it goes from here. It makes it feel like a book cover when you add this extra little spine here, which is perfect for us because we are making a book cover. So I'm gonna give you a couple choices for today's project. You can do it as a photo book like what we're doing, or you could go ahead and use it as a home decor art frame. And I've showed you those directions a few times. I'll have to look up the project numbers. I think this glue is empty. And I can share them in the comments here or in the video description. But there are some great directions that I've shared for making a photo frame or a little art frame out of the also DIY scraps from your designer series paper. So, all right, so we've got the edge put on our book here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pop our frame on. And I'm gonna do that with dimensionals because I really want to have this be nice and 3D. I don't know about you guys. Do you stick your dimensional and peel the backing at the same time? Or do you stick all your dimensionals and then go back and peel all the backings? Or does it depend on the project? I'm really curious about this. I find that sometimes when new people are using dimensionals, they try to peel the backing off of the foam piece, like they hold it in the air and try and peel the backing. That is definitely not my preferred method. So if that's you and you want to try something maybe a little less frustrating, go ahead and peel, press, and stick rather than trying to, so it's pull, press, peel. And then we need a little extra at the corners because we really want to support the corners of our frame. And at the top, we don't have a lot of surface area available. So I'm going to cut a little edge piece from our dimensionals. So remember, this whole sheet of foam dots is great for you. Even these kind of little tiny edge pieces that you cut. And then we have our piece stuck down here on the front of our project, okay? So see how easy that is to just pop that all together. I love using the negative space piece from our hybrid embossing folder. Tanya says she puts it in the project and then she peels all at the same time. There is a benefit to that too. I feel like I do both. It depends on my plan. So, all right. So now we want to start decorating these hearts, and we have all kinds of choices. We have die cut hearts. We have embossed die cut hearts. We have all of these extra dies that are included here to select from. We have cardstock options. We have designer series paper options, both the gold foiled and the colored side. And so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you sort of the pieces that I created for this one. So first things first, I've cut a couple of hearts for us, and we have two different sizes. Oh, let's see. People are commenting on their dimensionals. Put all dimensionals down and then peel. Stick and peel. Oh yeah, stick and peel for sure. Press on the project and then peel. Okay, we're pretty much on the same page here. That's good. I didn't want anyone to be struggling with dimensionals, the miracle that are Stampin' dimensionals. So we have a couple heart size choices here, and we are going to use the smaller ones here. So these are the ones that layer inside our frame. And I'm going to go ahead and pop a couple of these. I love when a die set has multiples of something, so I can run these through and with one die cut, create the pieces that I want. So here are, through the magic of television, our little die cut hearts. And then when I'm placing these on our frame, when I'm trying to figure out where to put all these pieces, thanks, Mary Ellen. When I'm trying to figure out where to put all these pieces, I like to go ahead and pop them on someplace sort of a little bit, scattered from each other. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this one on here and set this one aside. I have a couple more. These are the plaid die cut ones, but the same size. So we have a couple choices with those. And so I'm going to go ahead and scatter. I think I'm going to add some gold in here. Scatter these out to the corners there. Let's see. Maybe we'll use this one here as the gold side. So you can either put the dimensionals on your project or on the backing of the heart, but I'm feeling pretty confident about these, so I'm going to just go ahead and stick them down. Now, one of the benefits of using this 9 square frame here, sort of like a 9 square quilt sampler, is that you have easy spacing. You don't have to worry about getting, a lot of times I'll do this project with like 9 little squares, and then I will have to piece them together and get them aligned just right. With this 9 square done for you by the die, we know that her pieces are just all ready to go, which is great. All right, so now I'm going to bring in the couple of those hearts that I showed you. So we have our embossed hearts that we created at the beginning, and let's see, I think I'm going to grab one of the like detail-y ones, this one I think. Okay, so now I have these two hearts, and the thing with these is that they are the exact same size as the die cut frame, so they don't have quite as much like oomph, I guess, because they don't stand out from the background quite so much. There's still a cut in there that's pretty, but I want to make this one stand out a little more, and so I have another trick for you to get another kind of heart from this die set. When you cut a piece of cardstock and you use both the big outline and the small piece together, you are going to get this. And through the magic of television, you're going to get this. So you're going to get the heart that you cut out of the center and the outline. And those pieces can also be used on our pieces here. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and pop down here. This one, I'm going to go ahead and layer on top here to give our embossed heart just a little bit of a different look. So you can use it like this, or you can use it with one of those cardstock frames. But the beauty is that everything is matching, so you don't have to worry about getting the pieces all you know, lined up or anything like that. It's all gonna fit because the frame is symmetrical. So I like to leave a place where my fingers are not gonna get gluey, so that I don't glue all the way around. I'll leave like a little finger holding spot. For a while we were calling that the glue knot hole. So I don't remember, that was such a fabulous suggestion. So if it was yours, make sure you claim it here. I don't remember, but I do appreciate it. So, all right, so we're gonna pop this one down here. All right, so now you can see that that stands out just a little bit because of that extra cardstock around the edge. All right, oh, this one's not stuck. We're gonna have to stick that one. All right, so now I feel like this one is a little dark. It doesn't have quite as much oomph as some of the others, so we're gonna give that one a chance to be fabulous. And we're gonna die cut some of these pieces here. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 hearts can all be die cut from cardstock, and I have die cut them just from basic white, just basic white cardstock. So they're not inked or anything. They're just simple die cuts. You don't have to use the big frame with them. They cut just with a small, but aren't those elegant? The details are so pretty. So let's go ahead and pop some of these on. With this glue, if you can see the glue, it is enough. You don't need a ton on there. I realize it's hard to see on the white, but there we go. And let's see, I need a couple more of the red hearts here to go with this. So I'm gonna pop out some of these. Let's see, I have big ones and small ones in here. Do I have any more small ones? If not, I might have to do some cutting really fast. Well, let's see, not so much on those. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and put 2 more of those white ones here and here. And let's see, I'll put them, hold them off for now. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're going to I wanna have like a centerpiece message here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to the stamp set, which has lots of great choices. And let's see, I really like this one that says with all my heart. And so no matter what you're using this for, if you're gonna use it as a photo frame, or you're going to use it as the cover of a book, or you're gonna use it as an art piece, like a sampler, this is a great piece to have. So I'm gonna add a greeting sort of thing to the front and go ahead and stamp with all my heart on the front of this one. So this is the big size die cut here, just straight out of the frame. And then this is gonna go here. And when I add this piece here, it's gonna rebalance just a little bit so that we have sort of a binding here, which is the edge, and then we have a focal point here. So since it sits on top, that's gonna be a great focal point. And then we're gonna strengthen that just even a little further by adding some foil elements. So these are the foil jewels, which have become quickly my favorite, iridescent foil gems, quickly my favorite to pair with these pieces. So I'm gonna pop a couple on here. I really like to vary the size. So I'm gonna put a bigger one down there and a smaller one up here. And that is going to further strengthen our focal point. You could put a little ribbon behind there, or whatever you want to just really bring this out. All right, and then we are going to, let's see, I might not add those pieces. We're gonna add some extras to the front. So let's look a little bit more at the pieces we haven't used yet here. We have these dies here, which we used yesterday to make the cutout in the background of our card. So we have that negative space there in the background. And then we have these fun little sort of detail pieces, greenery and so forth. So these I have die cut for us from Flirty Flamingo cardstock. So that's gonna match our designer series paper. So we have these elements. Oh, Kelly says she thinks we should leave one unfilled. Okay, I like that actually. We'll do that. And so we're gonna go ahead and add these to our pieces. So I'm gonna pop just a teeny bit of glue on the back, and I think these will probably be easier to see. If you can see it, it's enough kind of glue strategy. And I'm going to overlap our frame for this. So what this is gonna do is this is going to help to connect our frame to sort of the foreground here, so that we have elements that overlap the 2 areas. Okay, if that makes sense. So before we had sort of the front and the back, now we have pieces that overlap sort of the back and the front to draw our pieces, draw our layers together, okay? Then the center of these tiny hearts gives you these tiny little pieces, and I'm going to pop a couple of these on. So let's see, it's much easier, I find, to add the glue dot to the piece and then stick the heart on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop those on. And remember, the putty tip of your Take Your Pick tool is just an easy grab to pick things up, especially when they're so tiny, and then move them onto your project. So that gives us some pieces there. Oh, I kind of like this. Actually, well, I'll show you the version that has these filled in, but maybe we'll just leave them both unfilled. There you go, Kelly. We'll leave them as they are. So there's the front of our booklet. Now, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the next step of our pieces. We have some more things to put in the center of this that use some of these, great extra elements and so forth. But let's talk about construction and the sort of nitty-gritty of construction here. So back to our elements, I have our 2 pieces of 6x6 chipboard. And you can use different length or different heaviness chipboard depending on kind of how heavy you want this book to be. If you want this to be a photo frame that's going to stand up on your table, like this kind of thing, then you really want to go with, pretty decent chipboard, like the back of the Most Adored 12x12 Designer Series paper, okay? So we're going to mount this on the front, but we're going to do the back of our book first, actually. So I have a piece of cardstock here that is 6 inches tall, and the length isn't really important. This one happens to be 7 inches. You can make it a little longer, probably not shorter. But what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to the back of our book and leave this here, which is going to help us create our binding. So let me think for 1 second. Actually, I can't do it yet. I have to do this in the right order. What I need to do first is add our photo holder pieces. And one of my favorites for adding photos to things is the clear medium envelopes. So these come as a package of 50, which is a very nice number. And they have these handy adhesive strips out here at the end. And so before we do anything else with our binding, I'm going to go ahead and add our photo holders here to our book. And so what I'm doing is I'm lining them up all the way to the right edge out here. And I have to do this in the air. I'm going to fold the flap around to the back. Ideally, you get them kind of straight, but honestly, it's really not going to matter that much. So here's what the back looks like. I've used the adhesive of the envelope to stick this down. And here's what the front looks like. And if you're like, wait, how do you put a picture in there? When you open it this way, you have a little pocket that you can put your photos in, okay? So depending on how many photos you want to include, 3 is a nice number. It gives you a chance to use a bunch of pictures, but you don't have to spend all of eternity looking for pictures. So the pockets on these are going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I'm going to I know pictures are 4 by 6, so I'm going to give you some tips on how to use that to your advantage here. So I'm just lining these up at the right hand and just folding them around to the back so that I have this stack of envelopes here. Have you guys used these envelopes for photos before? They're just so handy. All right, so the adhesive in the back is holding that stack of envelopes on, and now we are going to add our cardstock to the back. So this is where your multi-purpose liquid glue comes in so handy. You can just go ahead and spread that on there. You know you're gonna get a really great bond here, so I don't have to worry about things popping apart or anything like that. I did put a little bit here on our clear envelopes. All right, so I have now a layer of glue, and I'm gonna pop this onto the back. I'm setting it flat on my cardstock so that I know it's straight across the bottom, because if I want this to be able to stand up as a book, you will want to have it be flat across the bottom. You don't want your cardstock to be popping out. All right, and I've got it lined here at the edge. So now we have our envelopes and our cardstock with our backing, okay? All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to fold this up, and I'm gonna kind of just fold it at the edge here. I'm gonna use my fingers to fold that edge right at the edge of my chipboard. Okay, so I'm just running it against there. So now we have a hinge created, all right? So once you've got your hinge, then what you're gonna wanna do is add the front cover to our book. So we're gonna have this pop down on top here, and the hinge is gonna come around to the front, all right? Now, what this is gonna do is it's gonna make, can you see, it's gonna make it come not quite matched up here, and I am perfectly okay with that. If it really bothers you, you could, you know, figure out like an 1/8 of an inch scoring on the side, but really, I don't care. It's going to be great as a presentation book. It's going to be great as a photo album. So we're just going to go with it. And the other thing, it's going to give us a little benefit here in the next step. So I'm going to put a shout out there for just leaving it a little bit offset. And I'm going to pop some glue on here. And remember, with this multi-purpose liquid glue, it is amazing stuff. It binds completely and totally, but it doesn't bind instantly. So it gives you a chance to just make sure everything's straight there. I'm pressing it down against the table to make sure these are all flush. And then I'm just gonna hold it until it gives a good grab, okay? All right, next part of our book construction, here's where the perk comes in, is that when we put our cover on the front, now we have a pretty little offset here of real red cardstock that's showing through. And I really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and add our cover to our book now. And then we're going to talk about some decor for the inside. So make sure you don't go too far to the left edge when you're gluing here, because you don't want to have glue pop out. The multi-purpose liquid glue dries clear, but it dries sticky. So if you have glue that's popping off over the edges, it's gonna create a tacky spot where people touch and it'll be like, what was that? It's glue. So don't do that. All right, so now I've got this piece here. Now the other advantage of this, sometimes when you use cardstock as hinges, it doesn't like to stick. It wants to pop because it's so stiff. So since we've put our paper over the top of that hinge, it's gonna hold everything together and we do not need to worry about it coming apart. All right, so let's look at the guts of our book here before we add our finishing pretty touches. All right, first finishing pretty touch, we are going to stamp on the back of our book. And let's see, I have this, I adore you. Let's go ahead and mount this one up. I'm just gonna put it on the other side of this block and stamp this down here at the bottom. And just like a Hallmark card or whatnot, we're gonna add a little embellishment there. And I have here, let's see, one of our little plaid punched hearts. Well, I had a plaid punched heart. Okay, so here's what that's gonna look like. Look, a little plaid punched heart. Isn't that cute? All right, and then on the inside, we do not want to leave these pieces here just plain. We want to decorate them. So we're gonna go ahead and pull in some designer series paper. And this is where I'm gonna have the gold showing. So you can use the plaid side or the gold side. And the other thing you can do is you can stamp on these. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out our heart, this pretty heart here from the Adoring Heart set. And I'm gonna grab my Real Red ink. And then this is where I need a piece of scrap paper to put underneath, but we'll figure that out here in a second. And I'm going to, let's see, I'll live dangerously. We'll just do it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp some hearts on our background, and then I will clean off my table. Now, when you stamp on the designer series paper like this, you need to be very careful to make sure that you allow dry time. All right, so hold on a second. Speaking of allowing dry time, I'm just gonna pick this up and then use my chamois to clean off my table paper here. This is a piece of a vinyl countertop, actually, that works for me. The glass mat would be even easier to clear up, but you can use your chamois to do that. And the paper is going to take just a teeny bit longer than usual to dry. So you want to make sure that you don't smear across here. So we're going to leave that one for the second attachment. And we're going to go ahead and attach this one in here. So I'm going to grab my multi-purpose liquid glue again, and I'm going to put the glue just right here on the chipboard and go around and add this in here. There we go. Okay, so we've got our pieces across there and covering up the chipboard. Sometimes I cut my chipboard like just a hairline, like a 32nd inch smaller than 6x6, so that I know that I don't have to worry about it popping out at the edges. So you can kind of do that if you want to. All right, I'm gonna put this on the back, and I'm not going to run my hand across what I've just inked, because that is super dangerous. So instead, I'm gonna flip it over. I always say squish from the back side so that you can get that nicely adhered without smearing the ink. Okay, so there we have our little fun stamped hearts. So we're continuing our design. And oh, I like these empty ones, Kelly. That's kind of fun. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add, I'm going to teach you how to do the pocket pieces here for your card or your photos. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this part here, because what I want to do is add an extra accent across here. I'm going to add a label piece across here, and I'm going to use this Your Most Loved image, which is a beautiful piece from this stamp set. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink this one. We're going to stamp it here in Real Red on Flirty Flamingo cardstock, and then we're going to add an embossed heart to this. So I know you're like, wait a minute, how can you add an embossed heart to that when you have one giant folder and you only want one heart? We are going to be strategic. So we're not going to use this because we're not going to cut it. We're just going to use the folder and the heart here. So what I'm going to do is pop this right about here. Okay, and I'm going to keep it straight because we're going to keep this as the embossed piece. And I'm going to flip my camera back here and bring you guys here back to my studio so that I can run this through the embossing folder. So remember, when you're using the hybrid embossing folders, you're going to go ahead and use it with just the #1 pad, so the thick, there you can see pad, and the #4 mat, #4 pad. And I'm going to run this through here. And then I'm going to show you that this is just super easy to add one heart to something like a banner or something like we're doing here. And so now we've pulled this out, and you can see here we have like this extra heart over here, but we have the one heart that we want. And we're going to go ahead and just trim a banner tail here. There we go. So we have now an embossed heart on our banner, okay? And then this we're going to mount inside our book. And I'm going to go ahead and use glue for this part, and because I want that to be stuck down, but then I really kind of want this end to be popped up. So I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals out here on the end. All right, and we're going to stick this right here, Your Most Loved, okay? And then now we have our piece on the front of our book, okay? So we've carried this same element from the front into here. Now, you also, of course, can put as many of these onto here as you want. You can pop a Stampin' Dimensional on the back and, you know, go ahead and stick them up here. I would recommend putting your photos in first so you know where these are gonna fit best. And then the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the pockets for this. So I basically have a piece of designer series paper here that is cut to it's 4¼ inches by 5½, which is going to be card sized, and that is going to let me just pop my piece right in here, and that fits beautifully as like a photo frame background for my photos. So I'll show you some pieces here. So this picture was actually a vertical picture printed as a 4x6. And I went ahead and cut it so it's 4 inches wide. And so you can kind of see how that would fit perfectly on there. So actually, if I want to take one of these and pop it on, I think I like that side. Remember, if you've inked both sides of your folder, you can pick which side you like best. So now I have an extra little element on there. Now this same piece of designer series paper serves as a photo mat for both sides. And so on the back, I have another picture here. So this is one of my son's concerts this year, and then one of my daughter's concerts this year, and then you can, you know, pop another element on here. So actually maybe this one, since we didn't use those pieces on the front, I liked Kelly's suggestion. I'm going to pop a red heart on here, and then maybe we'll add a one of these little designer-y decorator frame pieces. Let's see. Remember, oops, that was a lot of glue. If you could see glue, it is enough. You do not need to glob it on, especially for something like this, because it's going to come out the edges and make a mess. So this is going to be a nice centered piece here, because remember, the larger hearts here are going to make the background, and then the smaller die cut hearts here are going to make those little tiny frames. So you get a really pretty layered effect there with that heart. So then you can go through and you can keep adding more pictures. This is from our Peach Bowl trip. If you guys heard about that one, we went, our high school marching band went to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta over New Year's. And so that's my son there marching with his trombone. So lots of fun. But you can see how great these books are. Here's the front cover with those extra designs there on the front. They make a great gift. They make a great decor piece to just, pop them up on your on the table in the kitchen, or a piece in the hall, or something like that, that people can, pick up and grab as you go through. You can present them to people. And honestly, you can use this fun card piece that we did on the front here just as a card. So you could take this 6x6 element and you could put a piece of cardstock on the back, and instead of putting chipboard in it, just fold the cardstock and make it a 6x6 card, and you can share that with somebody too. So lots of different ways to use them. And then the last thing is, if you haven't seen how I do the home decor photo frame, if you wanted to just do the photo frame, what you're going to want for that is you're going to want 2 pieces of I'll just cut these really fast and show you. You're going to want 2 pieces. I kind of like the 3x3 size. And this is the backing paper, here you can see, that comes with the designer series paper, the regular ones. And so what you're going to do is take 2 of these. 1 is a little bit not strong enough. 2 is really good. You're going to take 2 of the 6x3x3 or 6x3 papers and glue them together so that you have a piece that's a little bit stronger. Okay. Oh, Tanya said she missed where the chipboard came from. The chipboard comes as the backing paper. When you the most adored designer series paper is 12x12 as a celebration item. And when you get the whole package, then you get a 12x12 piece of chipboard with it. So you can make 2 of these. But honestly, you can look through your stash. If you have gold foil sheets, if you have window sheets, any of the specialty Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers come backed with a piece of chipboard. So I don't know about you, but honestly, I go through a lot of those fabulous papers, and so my chipboard tends to pile up. So it's an easy find. You could also, honestly, you could use a cereal box. Cereal box tag board, they're a little bit thin. So probably I would do just like we did right here and take 2 pieces of it and glue them together with the multi-purpose liquid glue, because that's going to give you really what you need. So now here is a cool thing. If you are getting the designer series paper share, I'm waiting for this to dry. If you're like Meg, you got distracted and didn't finish with this. It needs to dry. If you are doing the designer series paper share that I'm offering, tomorrow's the last day to sign up. So I've had a couple stragglers. There's just a couple spots open. The link should be in the video description, I think. But you're going to get 6x6 pieces of all of the papers in a suite. So here, like this. And so this one is the lavender paper, which has been super popular. So you can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there are the backs of it. So you could do these little albums with these. You're also going to get coordinating cardstock to match all of these. And this is one of the greatest perks about the Loven Stamps designer series paper share, is that you come with card bases, so they're ready to make cards. And then if you want to, so you're going to get there's 8 different designer series papers and then all the card stock to go with it. So that's 48 card bases and designer papers. That could be a lot of these little albums. And then if you want to get the embellishment packet to go with it, the embellishment packet includes a half package of all 8 of the embellishments that match the different designer series papers. So you'll have those to go. And if you get the add-on with the embellishments, then you're also going to get the celebration papers. So this is another 30 card bases and designer series papers to match them, like the tools and so forth. This is a really fun way to get a great mix of these papers, especially if you weren't necessarily going to get like the whole trusty toolbox suite. You'll have the papers and pieces that you can mix and match to make some really cool projects. So anyway, link in the video description for that. Okay, so do we think that this is dry? Yes, we do. So to make our photo frame backing, what you're going to do is you're going to take your trimmer and you're going to score from corner to corner on this piece. It doesn't matter which corner to which corner, as long as they're diagonal. But you're going to lay it down and just give it a really good score, okay? So see that line across there? You can see that line across there. I'm going to go ahead and fold it on that line, okay? Remember, when you're trying to decide which way to fold on a score, you're going to show your dimples hide your pimples. So if we were making this as a card, the dimple would be this side. We're going to show it on the outside. The pimple would be on this side. We're going to fold it to the in, okay? But when you're doing the photo frames, you just want to fold on that score, but you don't want to fold it very far, okay? So you can see that that's really all I've folded it there. So kind of picture that. And then we would take our frame. So let's pretend that this is not a whole book here. That's not a very good example. All right, let's pretend that we just put this on a piece of chipboard. So this is now mounted on chipboard. And then what we'd do is we would go ahead and fold this, pop this on the center here. I would glue right along here like this. Okay, so this part is glued. And then when you stand this up, it stands here on the table with that backing. Okay, it's hard to show you guys this in dimensions. So see how that works? Ta-da! So when you have a piece of chipboard backing your designer series paper, this works really well as a quick and easy frame backing. Okay, so I use these all the time. Honestly, I have pieces that I pull out that I've had for years and years. So they really, this is a really sturdy way to add a backing to a frame. So super inexpensive using the stuff that you have already. All right, yay! I'm glad that you guys are excited about this project. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, you can hear me again now. So I was talking about getting these printable PDF tutorials. They will show up in your inbox if you are placing an order with me during the month of January. You'll get those by email. And they are great because I take a limited group of supplies. So this time it's going to be the brayer, the stamp set, the hybrid embossing folder, just these couple colors of ink, Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. And it gives you a chance to mix and match those pieces to make 4 really cool projects, of which now I've showed you 2. And then you'll have the video tutorials you can walk through. And also, if your order is $50 or more, or if you get the paper share with the embellishment add-on, then you're going to get supply kits, so project kits in the mail for 2 projects. And I haven't decided which ones those are going to be, but coming soon, probably the card that we did the other day, actually. And I've had people say, oh, Meg, I don't know, because I don't always get the stamps that you feature, so then I can't make the card kits. That is totally up to you how you use those card kits. So I entirely encourage you to make something all of your own using a stamp set that you have. If you didn't pick and order the stamps that I featured during the month, although, I mean, really, how could you resist Adoring Hearts? Anyway, use stamps you have on hand and take those pieces from those card kits and make something else fabulous. I would love to see what you guys create. So, all right. So hopefully you are inspired to make some fun photo frames. I've given you plenty of time to work on this project before Valentine's, so you can make these and send them out to special people in your life, or just have them on your table or your coffee table or wherever at home to just kind of highlight things that you want to remember. But these are a really fun and very simple project, especially when you're putting them together with like the Adoring Hearts hybrid frame. They just really come together, and you're going to end up with tons and tons of like hearts. I don't know, I feel like I throw them up in the air. You're going to end up with tons and tons of extra hearts, and it's going to make you want to make even more of these. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking with me on a little bit longer video this morning, and I will wish you a happy almost Friday, a pre-Friday, I think we call it. Think good and easy road clearing thoughts as we drive to Colorado Springs today and tomorrow, and then back on Monday, Sunday and Monday. So I'm kind of excited to reconnect with a friend who I haven't seen since like shortly after, I guess I've seen her after high school, but a high school friend. So we'll get to visit her along the way, and then have some fun hiking time in Colorado Springs while my son is at his audition. So kind of a big deal. All right. And if you have any questions, let me know. Definitely look for the link for the Designer Series paper share. Since the last 2 days to sign up are today and tomorrow, watch for PayPal invoices if you haven't already. Actually, 100% of people have been on top of that, so cool. If you prefer not to pay by PayPal, you can pay by credit card over the phone, or we can do checks and things like that. So, but definitely let me know, because we'll be getting those papers ordered and ready to. There we go. My alarm, and I will go ahead and sign off, and I will see you guys next on Tuesday. Yes, we will have very warm things packed for certain. It is like crazy out there. All right, guys, have a great day. Happy stamping, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.